ordinaryong kababayan natin, ang dali lang na i-red tag, tapos yung iba pa inaaresto. Kaya Madam Chair, to connect that to my next point, kasi kapag ordinaryong tao, ang dali nating hulihin, ganyan. How about naman yung mga personalities, ano?
With due respect to the Congressman Manuel, it is never the policy of the PNP to red tag. Let that be put in the record. Kung meron pong ganyang study ang Ateneo, we will look into it and investigate. Yun ang po masasabi po namin dito.
Pasabog na balita! DILG Secretary Binhar Abalos Jr. at Raul Manuel nagkasagutan. Pero bago ang lahat, maaari kayong mag-subscribe para maging updated sa mga issue at bago mga balita. Sinagot nga ni Secretary Abalos Jr. at ng iba pang kinatawan ng DILG ang paratang ni Raul Manuel patungkol umano sa human rights. Pagbubunganga ni Raul Manuel, tiniklop. Narito ang buong detalye.
May I continue, Madam Chair? The gains and accomplishments of the department would not be possible without the budget entrusted to us by both houses of Congress. Thus, we are pleased to report that the budget allocated for us in 2023 was judiciously spent with an obligation rate of 98.26% and a disbursement rate of 98.17%. While for the first semester of this year, we were able to obligate more than 57% of our allotment with a disbursement rate of almost 97%. At this point, may we share with you the highlights of our department's fiscal year 2025 budget proposal. The DILG's 2025 proposed budget amounts to a total of 281 billion pesos with an increase of 6% from our current appropriation. This is a breakdown of our 2025 proposed budget per agency, with PNP, the BFP, and BJMP having the biggest share due to their human resource and logistical needs. The 6% increase covers the entire DILG family, with the Local Government Academy, the National Youth Commission, the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, and the National Commission of Muslim Filipinos having the highest increases in their respective budgets. As shown in this slide, 81% of our budget, or 228.7 billion, goes to personal services, while 14%, or 39 billion, is for maintenance and other operating expenses, and 5%, or 13.6 billion, for capital outlay. This slide will show the 2025 budget for each agency per expense class. The DILG assures this committee that this will be used to fully support the priorities and trust of our government. Allow us to discuss the highlights of the 2025 budget per agency. With its allocation, the Office of the Secretary will enhance capacities of LGUs by scaling up standards on local government performance and increasing incentives such as the SGLG Incentive Fund from 1 billion to 2 billion pesos, strengthening LGU capacities and heightening accountability of local officials, monitoring local infrastructure projects funded through the Local Government Support Fund, advancing citizens' participation, digitalization, and streamlining of regulatory processes. We will also continue and further intensify our campaign against illegal drugs through the BIDA program and our efforts to address insurgency and violent extremism. As our proposed budget will also strengthen local peace and order institutions and the operations of the Emergency 911. Similarly, we will continue to monitor LGU compliance to Supreme Court mandamus on Manila Bay cleanup, as well as strengthen our operational capability to monitor and respond to disasters as the Vice Chair for Disaster Preparedness. The Local Government Academy's budget, on the other hand, will be used for the training of newly elected officials following the national and local elections next year, capacity development activities for LGUs and DILG officials and functionaries, modernization of the Local Government Academy Training Center, as well as operational expenses and implementation of ICT projects. The NAPOLCOM will continue improving its capacities as the oversight policy body of the Philippine National Police by increasing accessibility to examinees nationwide, administering police welfare benefits and police discipline, as well as enhancing its ICT capabilities and the overall operations of the Commission. Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police will focus its efforts and resources to hire an additional 2,000 patrolmen and women construct 37 police stations and other facilities, sustain its capability enhancement program, undertake police patrol operations, enable swift disaster response and other intelligence or confidential activities, and secure the welfare of the uniformed personnel and their dependents through the provision of rice subsidy, hospitalization, and healthcare services. The 2025 budget of the BFP will be used to strengthen its firefighting capacities by hiring new 2,000 police or fire officer 1, construction of 40 fire stations to LGUs with no fire station, procurement of 37 fire trucks, rescue and disaster risk reduction equipment, provision for operating cost, maintenance and repair of city and municipal fire stations, and preventive maintenance of fire trucks. And the last, provision of rice subsidy and personal protective equipment for its uniformed personnel. The BJMP, on the other hand, will enhance its decongestion efforts and safeguarding of PDLs by hiring additional 2,000 jail officers, construction of jail buildings, perimeter fences, and other facilities, procurement of equipment and facilities such as short firearms, transport vehicles, and communication equipment to improve its operational efficiency. Meanwhile, we will also ensure the humane treatment of PDLs through the provision of food, medicine, and the continuous provision of social development interventions. The Philippine Public Safety College will continue to produce forward-looking and highly capable public order and safety officers by continuously improving its course offerings and training programs to keep up with the current and future trends and advancements in peace and order and public safety, such as cybersecurity. The National Commission on Muslim Filipinos will continue to advance socio-cultural, economic, and social protection programs for Muslim Filipinos. It will sustain its reforms on annual Hajj operations and improve its internal processes and systems to further assist Muslim communities throughout the country. Through its intervention for the Filipino youth, the National Youth Commission will help usher in a new generation of innovative and future-ready leaders. It will continue to train Sangguniang Kabataan and mobilize various groups, youth organizations for its advocacy, which includes youth-oriented activities against illegal drugs. Lastly, the Philippine Council for Women will continue to work for women's empowerment by ensuring the gender's responsiveness of government policies, plans, and programs, supporting initiatives to further advance the campaign against violence against women and their children, and enabling the realization of the Philippines' commitments on gender equality and women empowerment. Sa harap ng mga hamon ng ating makabagong panahon, makakaasa kayo na sa daan tungo sa bagong Pilipinas, makakatuwang ninyo ang DILG sa pagtataguyod ng isang bayang maunlad at payapa para sa bawat mamamayang Pilipino. Maraming salamat po at magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Oh, thank you very much. So, I would like to inform the body that with us also this morning is the Vice Chair Natasha Ko, who's in charge of the National Youth Commission. So, may we now proceed to acknowledge the minority, as I've mentioned this morning earlier. May the Chair now recognize Representative Raul Manuel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning sa lahat. Good morning din po sa mga officials ng DILG. I'll proceed right away, Madam Chair. Pero baka lang po mag 2 or 3 rounds po ako, Madam Chair, kasi given yung specificity ng issues sa mga attached agencies ng DILG, may questions po ako sa PNP, BJMP, pati sa NYC, Madam Chair. So, una, Madam Chair, sa support to the Barangay Development Program, which is one of the main programs ng NTF-ELCAC. Madam Chair, gusto nating i-confirm sa DILG, kasi sila naman yung nag-oversee ng Barangay Development Program. For 2023, out of 1,253 projects, ilan po ang nakompleto? For 2023 lamang.
May we get the response from the DILG?
For 2023, Madam Chair, we have a total of 1,253 projects under the Support to Barangay Development Program. And our LGUs have completed the implementation of 841 projects.
841 projects. As of kailan po yan?
This is as of June 2024, Madam Chair.
Kasi Madam Chair, sa website naman ng NTF-ELCAC, ang sabi po nila Madam Chair ay mas mababa, 639 projects lang.
We will be submitting to the NTF-ELCAC our latest report on the status of projects under SBDP 2023.
Kasi Madam Chair, itong data ng NTF-ELCAC mismo, sabi nila 51% lang yung nakompleto. So kung may ganong figure, then dapat nagko-coordinate yung mga ahensya natin, Madam Chair. Bukang bibig naman po nila lagi whole of nation, pero sa data parang walang whole of nation. How about 2024, Madam Chair, so far? Out of 885 projects, ilan po yung nakompleto na?
Madam Chair, for 2024, the DBM just released the amount to our local government units. That's why our LUs are still in the process of procuring the projects.
Kung ganun, Madam Chair, ngayon po ay August na. Meron tayong 4 whole months na lang na natitira for the year. So, Madam Chair, kung ganito na naman, this is not the first time na ganito kabagal ang paggamit ng pondo for NTF-ELCAC. In fact, Madam Chair, noong 2021, kinailangan pang umabot hanggang June of this year para lang umabot sa 96% yung kanilang obligation rate, Madam Chair. So kung ganito, for 2024, na ganito yung rate natin, kailan na naman nila magagamit yung buong pondo for this year, Madam Chair? Abot ba tayo 2027? Tapos, ang nais pa ng NTF-ELCAC, Madam Chair, for the Barangay Development Program ay taasan pa kung ano yung nasa National Expenditure Program. Kaya Madam Chair, hindi natin matatanggap na ganito na naman. Paulit-ulit po tayo every year, kahit po ako nagsasawa na, pero it's my job to point out kung may mga ganitong lapse sa ating mga ahensya, Madam Chair. So, all the more, Madam Chair, na dapat i-defund na natin. No? I strongly would insist na i-defund na natin itong NTF-ELCAC, including its Barangay Development Program for 2025. I-realign na po yan directly, Madam Chair, sa national agencies working on education, health, and other social services. Next, Madam Chair, to the Philippine National Police, I would address my question sa PNP. Policy question, Madam Chair, kasi di ba nagsabi ang ating nakaupong Pangulo ngayon na hindi gobyerno ang nangunguna sa red tagging? Tama po ba?
Opo.
Madam Chair, pero ang ating mga city and municipal police stations, di ba bahagi po ng gobyerno? Tama po ba?
Opo, sir.
Kasi Madam Chair, kaya po natin natanong kasi sa unang mayor na pag-aaral tungkol sa red tagging sa bansa, ginawa po ito ng Ateneo Human Rights Center. Ang sabi sa study na iyon, up until July 2024, kalakhan ng red tagging ay gawa ng gobyerno. At kalakhan ng online red tagging ay ginagawa ng city and municipal police stations sa Facebook. So, ano pong pagtingin ninyo doon sa ganitong pag-aaral ng Ateneo Human Rights Center?
Sir, I have to look po dun sa sinasabi nyo, but po na natin, we just follow yung rules po ng presidente natin. We don't want to red tag anymore. Yun po yung kung nangyari po yan, we have no idea, but I will investigate po kung nangyayari po yan. But right now, we don't have any report na ginagawa po namin yan.
Madam Chair, kung wala po silang idea, then it seems hindi nila talaga na-check yung ginagawa ng mga local police stations, lalo na kung may ganito nang consolidated information, then it is the task of our agencies na mag-ayos sila, Madam Chair. Dahil nga, iba yung sinasabi, pero iba yung ginagawa.
Sir, foremost, sir, we don't have any issue to red tag anybody, and it's against human rights. And kaya po namin din na-imbestigan yan because wala po kaming issue na coming from the higher ups, even before na yung mga predecessor ko, to come up with the red tagging po. Wala po kaming issuance ng ganang orders po.
So, Madam Chair, it's the word of the PNP under the current administration against the word of Ateneo Human Rights Center. And of course, Madam Chair, I think we would expect, yun yung sasabihin nila, they would deny na nangyayari ito. But again, Madam Chair, we have these people in the academe, civil society, na nag-a-attest nga na nangyayari pa rin ito under the current administration. Gusto natin, again, whole of nation, collaboration, pero kapag may mga sinasabi naman yung ating civil society to point out ano yung mga dapat pa ring ayusin, dinay-deny natin, Madam Chair. So, hindi din po katanggap-tanggap yun, ano, na yung mga ordinaryong kababayan natin, ang dali lang na i-red tag, tapos yung iba pa, inaaresto. Kaya, Madam Chair, to connect that to my next point, kasi kapag ordinaryong tao, ang dali nating hulihin, ganyan. How about naman yung mga personalities, ano? We have people like Alice Go, Apollo Quiboloy, hindi pa natin nahuhuli. Ano po ang plano ng AFP, ng PNP, doon sa mga dapat hulihin na ng mga personalities?
Madam Chair, can I just answer about red tagging? With due respect to the Congressman Manuel, it is never the policy of the PNP to red tag. Let that be put in the record. Kung meron pong ganyang study ang Ateneo, we will look into it and investigate. Yun ang po masasabi po namin dito. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Chair, balik po dun sa question. Sa task ng PNP, na kung may dapat talaga siyang hulihin, panagutin, yun yung mga ganitong tipo ng personalities, Apollo Quiboloy and si Go Huaping o si Alice Go. So ano na po ang status ng ginagawa ng PNP?
Sir, yung ginagawa po namin, where continuous po yung investigation namin and continuous po yung tracking po natin. Not only the Philippine National Police, but all the agencies involved. Special po yung Bureau of Immigrations and of course yung intelligence unit po natin from National Security Agency because these are people. With regard to Quiboloy, ganun pa rin po yung ginagawa namin, tuloy-tuloy pa rin po yung surveillance namin doon sa area po. In yung location po ng 5 tao na hindi po pa nahuhuli. Kasama po ni fugitive Apollo Quiboloy.
So to cap na lang
May
may
I
first round,
remind-
Madam Chair.
may I
oo.
remind
May
the
ganito lang
Honorable
inconsistency,
Manuel,
Madam Chair. Ano,
that your time expired, so kindly
Yes.
wind up.
Yes, Madam Chair, oo. Nakapag mga big personalities talaga, parang hirap-hirap na arestuhin ng PNP. Pero kapag ordinaryong tao, ang dali lang na hulihin tsaka maging biktima pa ng red tagging na nagpapatuloy pa rin hanggang ngayon. So, kailangan talagang mag-ayos, Madam Chair, ano, at hindi dapat yan pabayaan lang. So, that would be for the first round, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Madam Chair, just a comment. I would just like to place it on record na hindi ho kami ganon. As far as Quiboloy is concerned and the others, ginagawa namin. In fact, dinimanda po kami on record. Nakadimanda po ako ngayon, ang PNP, dahil sa pag-raid po namin sa Kingdom of Jesus. And we are going to answer these accusations against us. Just for the record, hindi po kami ganon. Maski sino po, hahanapin po namin. Salamat po.
Okay, so thank you very much, Honorable Raul Manuel. Next to be recognized is Representative Wowo Fortes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, members of this committee, resource persons, the ALG family. Magandang umaga po. Madam Chair, looking at the budget brief of the DILG, under the title, Our Notable Feat, foremost is the seal of good local governance. Looking back, 2010, we started with the seal of good housekeeping and the establishment of the Performance Challenge Fund. This eventually metamorphosed into what we call now as the seal of good local governance around 2014 and was institutionalized through Republic Act 11292